yawa go gas. Yawa go gas. If you body go, yawa go gas. If you body go, yawa go gas.
Revolution! 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 Social revolution!
Social revolution!
The only way to fight oppression. Social revolution. Social revolution. Social revolution.
Social revolution. The only way to fight oppression. Social revolution.
Wọ́n ní ẹ̀dákun ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o. Freedom ń ṣe privilege ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o. Ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o. Freedom ń ṣe privilege ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o. Ẹ̀tàtọ̀ ẹ̀dákun ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o. Freedom ń ṣe privilege
ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o. ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o. Freedom ń ṣe privilege ẹ̀tàtọ̀ o.
Of the greatest Nigerian people. Yes. Of the greatest Nigerian people. Yes. Say gbagba. Say gbogbo. Fundamental sí wọn. Say pa wọn. Say of the greatest Nigerian people.
Tell us, start by telling us how you were picked up on the day of protest.
Nah, we were not picked up, we were beaten. So because we practically came peacefully with placards, banners, and leaflets, to come mobilize and sensitize our people, the Nigerian people, on specific demands. Particularly number one, about free education at all levels. Our demand was that Nigeria should give its people free education at all levels, and that it should implement the 30,000 naira minimum wage it signed with the Nigerian workers. Our other demands was for the fact that the government should end the insurgency, the killings, and the bloodletting going on in the country. Those were our specific demands, 3 of them. In addition to the fact that the illegal abduction of Sowore, that the government must immediately release him, because Sowore was not released. He was not arrested. That was not an arrest. You came in at the wee period of the night, in the midnight, and then like a thief in the night, and you came to abduct someone who only, displayed his constitutional right to freedom of speech and expression, and you came at the dead of the night to abduct him. These are our demands, and this is not right. You are in a democratic institution, but unfortunately, just for that, our placards and leaflets was confronted with guns and canisters, tear gas and pepper spray, as if we were in a war front. I've never seen the Nigerian military, Nigerian force so organized. If they had been half that organized, they would have ended insurgency in Nigeria. They would have defeated Boko Haram, they would have defeated herdsmen. But unfortunately, their incisive level of organization was only targeted at stifling legitimate actions. And it's just like that at everywhere. So these are actually the conditions that led to our arrest.
What was your experience like at the prison?
Yeah, first let me say that long before we were occupants of that place, we've always canvassed that the Nigerian government must take the question of prison reform serious. And the question of prison reform must start first from our judiciary, because just for I discovered that the Kogi prison was just 800 capacity, but unfortunately we have thousands of persons that were being cramped up in the prison meant for just 800 persons. In fact, the kind of food there is just as if you are serving your dog. So I think one of the major problems too is the fact that for petty offenses, you put people in prison. Offense that could have just should have just been taken as maybe they call this no. I mean this. The minor offences where simply they could just say you should go for maybe community service. We are just going for an option of community service, but no, you find them those minor offences in prison. But beyond that too, well, in fairness, our problem is not with the police force. Neither is it with the warders. In fact, that's by the way, one of the very funniest thing they talk about in prison was that don't come and revolutionize our people. That the revolution now slogan has spread down to the prison, whereby there is some sort of apprehension that if these people stay here too long, they might eventually allow. So please don't. Yes. So the thing is that everybody knows that what's going on in prison is very terrible. Not the fault of anybody, but the fact that our judicial system is whacked. The government has been irresponsible. It does not. Well, of course, it doesn't attend to people who are outside, let alone people who are even in prison. So that's generally what is going on. So, and I think fundamentally the question of judicial reform too must be taken as important as every other demands within the larger sphere of the country. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let's come to you. We saw how you were being taken. We saw how your picture spread so much.
I was bundled up like a criminal because I came to demonstrate, to express myself. The Buhari government on that day, I think it's a tragedy in the Nigerian history. But we were carrying out a historical course and we are not deterred by anything at all. We came peacefully to demonstrate, but I was amazed by the number of policemen that were mobilized to that place. I was bundled up, beaten. You can see that my eye has a dent there. And the police stole my phone. As I speak with you right now, I do not have a phone.
They stole Provision's phone too.
And they stole Provision's phone as well.
They stole 2 of our comrades' phones.
Yeah, so as I speak with you now, some of the phones that were tendered, ours were not there.
We will catch them.
So that was how they brutalized us.
They stole your phone.
They stole my phone, yes. As I speak with you right now, I don't have my phone. I don't even know where the phone is. It's my statement with the police, and I decided to document it right there. So the manner in which they bundled me up, if they had used some effort, like my comrade just said, against the criminals in this country. We have criminals in our political terrain, in the judiciary, everywhere. Nobody does anything against them. But for a citizen who came out and said, no, I do not want this to be happening in my country, the Buhari government has just proven that it is miles away from democracy. And that's very sad.
There's no harder than Abacha's government. There are comments on social media that now that you people are getting released, that you should now go and be careful now and take your time. would you simmer?
The struggle continues. It doesn't end now. Revolution continues. It is now and it keeps going until they listen to us, until we achieve our aim. We are not forcefully taking this government from Buhari. That is the message we are trying to pass. And we are still passing the same message to the government, to the present government. We are letting them know that we Nigerians are suffering. It is beyond.
You also in prison with them?
No, these are my comrades.
Okay, let's take the people that were in prison.
So you asked a question. Yes. You said that you made a reference to the fact that it has been said that we should calm down or after we have been released from prison. Yes. It depends on what they are referring to. Maybe calm down and recharge and then move forward from there. I don't know. It depends on what they are saying. So yes, as long as injustice continues in this country, there will be no time for this government to rest. That's the fact. They may as well come and kill us. After all, they almost killed us that day, just by the grace of God they were alive.
So any government that makes tyranny a practice, then should expect that resistance will become. In fact, it's in the video, but it's just like Malcolm X made the statement. Said it will make peaceful negotiation impossible, makes violent revolution inevitable. Okay, so if the government, we've always been calm. In fact, the government should even thank Nigeria. Nigerians has been extremely calm because amidst this kind of problem, you don't pay people salaries, education is whacked. You get, Nigeria became the poverty capital of the world, and you say we are not calm. If something like this happened in other advanced countries, do you think that this kind of reaction we are going to be having? So we've always been calm. Maybe the right question should have been that, what are we going to do next after coming from prison? Because these are our demands are not yet adhered to. We said the government should give our people free education at all levels. Has the government done that? They said that the government should. We are talking about government paying our workers the 30,000 naira minimum wage. It willfully signed with Labour, Has he done that?
Please, can you also tell us exactly what your experience was like while you were there in the prison?
I would say it's interesting. It was interesting. To be sincere, it was interesting. Except for the will I say, not anxiety.
What is interesting actually? Let's start from there.
Okay, interesting as like it was fun. It was okay. It was normal. As in,
like you don't mind going back.
I don't mind going back. It was fun. There was like being in a hostel, like Umbanefo hostel in UNN. Yeah, it was fun. It was crazy. But it was cool. It was cool. As in quiet, you just meet cool people, just normal people like you, just with a little problem. All of us have problems. Just paying for their sins, and rather than hide it or something.
So, are you regretting participating in that revolutionary protest action?
No.
So, would you be returning with other comrades to continue protests, to continue to press on your demands?
My dad used to say something. He said the truth, no matter whose mouth it comes from, is sacred and should be revered. That is, even though a madman passing here and just speaks the truth, just like, oh, what did this guy say? He's right, you just revere it, not because of who he's coming from, you understand? But because it's the truth, you understand? So if I see something happening, I owe the obligation to be there and to speak my mind, to join with them.
Revolution! No. Revolution!
No. Convener of the core. Okay.
Before we go, let's speak to Eis. Eis is the oldest of all those who were.
Yes. Buhari is a shame. Buhari is a shame. I'm quite beaten because Buhari is a bad Buhari is president. Because I want to say something. He promised us for Norway 30,000. He don't give us. He spent the money. They will give many of them the money. Shame of shame the Buhari from Nigeria. Now you are coming back from campaign again that no give forth in Norway. You are in trouble. Let me God, remember God. You are die anytime. Nigeria will be continue. Remember. The punishment that you give to me, God will give it back to you. God will give it back to you. I don't do anything to you. I don't do anything to you. You punish me everything. Jesus Christ will punish you and will kill you off.
Yes. What is called planning or doing next?
Our comments are when you talk about our next plan, our next plan will be hinged on whether President Buhari has repented or not. That is a succinct position that we made. We raised a 5-point demand, and that if those demands are not met with immediate effect, Nigerians should take up a revolution. We didn't call that we will do the revolution. No. What we are saying is that enough is enough. And we are not receding on the revolution because we know that that's the only way out. And Buhari has justified our position. A sensible ruler would look at these people are talking of revolution. For him, it's treason. That's his own language. Abi? Are the 5-point demands treason? Is free, functional, and quality education at all level treason? Is ending corruption treason? Is ending insecurity treason? Is returning wealth, redistribution of wealth, and changing Nigeria from becoming the poverty capital of Nigeria, is that treason? If all those demands are treason, Buhari should join all Nigerians.
Exactly. Now, yesterday, the national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshiomhole, said Sowore does not have the moral rights to call a protest because he participated in the last election. What's your response to that?
My response is simple. Adams Oshiomhole, while he was governor of Edo State, I was an investigative journalist in Edo State for 5 months. Adams Oshiomhole is the most anti-worker governor I've ever known. Go and ask in Edo State. When Adams Oshiomhole was governor of Edo State, he dealt with all the labor leaders in Edo State. He dealt with judiciary workers in Edo State. He dealt with every other worker except the National Union of Teachers. And the National Union of Teachers defeated Adams Oshiomhole thanks to us. Thanks to our support to NUT. Adams Oshiomhole, all through as NSC president, fought against casualization of workers. But as governor, has done the highest number of state casualization so far. Adams Oshiomhole casualized over 50,000 workers in Edo State through the youth employment scheme. Yes workers. And let me tell you something. Yes workers, Adams Oshiomhole use yes workers to get tax and raise money in the whole of Edo State. He employed them, most of them master students, degree students. After employing them for 5 years, and immediately he was going, that means he had 8 years as governor, he employed them for 5 years. The next 1 year, he used them again, you get it, to develop the workforce in Edo State. And he then retrenched everybody. He sacked all the yes workers in Edo State. Famously, students even in Edo State secondary schools came out and revolted. So all of us know Adams Oshiomhole. From the time of the Texas workers, Adams Oshiomhole had been selling workers. It was because the Nigerian left was strong that Adams Oshiomhole was addressing and leading protests. In fact, you need to also remember that all the protests Adams Oshiomhole led, he beheaded all the protests.
Yes.
He would say, he would tell the federal government, increase the petrol price to 140. I will fight, and then you reduce it to 70 or 80. Baba. So Adams Oshiomhole was a fraud. All true. A big fraud, all true. And he's still a fraud. In Edo State today, if you say you are a comrade in Edo State, people will hate you because of Adams Oshiomhole. So Adams Oshiomhole is not a good example to us. And we want to tell the NSC and TUC, if all of you want to follow the steps of Adams Oshiomhole, the ruling class does not give revolutionaries 2 chances. The chance they give Oshiomhole is because Babangida has been nurturing Oshiomhole since when he led the revolt against professional workers of the textiles. And that's why today, Adams Oshiomhole was the one who supervised how textiles were destroyed in Nigeria. The same way, many of them also supervised how electricity was privatized. So Adams Oshiomhole supervised how textiles was privatized in Nigeria. He is a fraud. Not just a fraud, he is a continental fraud that we know in Nigeria. So we understand who Adams Oshiomhole is. He cannot talk when Sowore is talking. He is angry because we have been able to behead his manipulation of the left in Nigeria. With the coalition of revolution, we have been able to defeat Oshiomole's hold, Aregbesolah's hold on the left in Nigeria. Aregbesolah and Oshiomhole has been using money to destroy opposition, real political opposition in Nigeria. And with this protest, with this revolution now, with the coalition for revolution, we have been able to defeat them. We want to use this opportunity to tell many of the proteges of Oshiomhole and Aregbesolah that are trying to crawl back through the free Sowore protest into this struggle and try to now do crocodile tears that the revolution cannot wait for betrayers anymore. The revolution cannot wait for those who want to behead the struggle anymore. The revolution has chosen its heroes, it has chosen his comrades, it has chosen its own actions. Who are we to tell Nigerians what to do? Nigerians are their own liberators. We are just the tribune. We are just reminding Nigerians. You cannot be saying revolution in your room without saying it outside. And we are happy. Let me tell you, comrade, 14 states had action. Till date, Buhari is still putting all the military and soldiers and police. Look, Buhari lied to soldiers and police before the election that he will pay all of them 100,000 minimum wage. And many of them are now running helter-skelter to defend Buhari. They are only defending the mal-future of their children. When I say mal-future, Buhari has destroyed the future of the children of soldiers and police. So by his destruction of those futures, he is now giving guns to their father to go and be killing those who want to fight and defend those futures. So we are calling on the Nigerian police, Nigerian soldiers, that all of them should stand up and rise where they are and defend the truth and their conscience.
Just quickly, sir, can you tell us how eventually you were able to step in and get the comrades out? Yeah,
we see it's a struggle for all of us, and we've been on the top of it before now. You know, an injustice to one is an injustice to all, and that is an evidence that we are together. It's a coalition of combinations of civil society that we have to come out, spearheaded by Sowore, Omoyele Sowore, and you can see that it's one love, with one strength, with one belief and struggle, we are together. And what we are saying is that the government should reverse. So you should think. It is not all about violence. It is all about telling the justice. We cannot continue to fold our hands. The future of our unborn children is in danger. And that's why we have to come. They've wasted our own generation. And we will not allow them to continue in that man to our unborn generation. It is a tax for everybody. And we are using this medium to tell all Nigerians to come up, to come out with us, to support this struggle. They should not be dying in silence.
As civil society leader, I want to ask, there are other, civil society organizations or comrades, if you like to call them like that, who are also being sponsored to support the government against you, who are also protesting. What do you say to, is the left divided?
Let me tell you, they are not comrades now. They are comrades. Did you understand? You know from the spirit, even when Jesus gathered 12 people, you can see betrayal. So there was a Judas. So we are not disturbed about that. The history will tell, time will tell who and who. Those men they are going there collecting money from politicians. We are our heart. We have a free mind, and we are fighting for justice. So whatever will be, that the history and the detriment of what will happen to them, you will pity them. They cannot come to the field with us because we know them too.
Thank you.
I think finally we want to dedicate our freedom and all of that to Fela Anikulapo Kuti, and that's why we are here at the Kalakuta Republic. Yes. And so we'll just sing this song shortly. Come with. Whether you like or you don't like, after you hear this thing you talk. Whether you like or you don't like, after you hear this thing you talk. If you like it good, gaga. If you don't like it, want gaga. If you like it good, gaga. If you don't like it, want gaga. Everybody go down, gaga. You go die for nothing, gaga. They go carry your body go police station. You know you wrong food, gaga, 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 gaga. Revolution!
Revolution now, no retreat, no surrender. Forward ever, backwards never. Nigeria must be free.
Revolution now, no retreat, no surrender. Our action continues as far as President Buhari is not listening to the demands of Nigerians.